President Joe Biden has said America will hold those responsible to account after 3 US soldiers were killed and 34 injured in a drone attack on a military base in Jordan near the Syrian border. The White House says the attack was carried out by a radical Iran-backed militant group operating in Syria and Iraq. In a written statement, the president said, America's heart is heavy. Last night, 3 US service members were killed and many wounded during an unmanned aerial drone attack on our forces stationed in northeast Jordan near the Syria border. While we are still gathering the facts of this attack, we know it was carried out by radical Iran-backed militant groups operating in Syria and Iraq. The 3 American service members we lost were patriots in the highest sense, and their ultimate sacrifice will never be forgotten by our nation. We will carry on their commitment to fight terrorism and have no doubt we will hold all those responsible to account at a time and in a manner our choosing. Our Middle East correspondent Alistair Bunkle is in Jerusalem. Alistair, what more can you tell us?
Well, this attack happened last night. It's understood that the soldiers who were wounded and the 3 of those who were killed were sleeping at the time. It was in an outpost near the Jordanian-Syrian border. The Americans have had forces based around that area for many years now, dating back at least until the time when the Syrian civil war was at its height, and American forces, along with others, were fighting against Islamic State cells in Syria. They are the first US service personnel to have been killed since the Hamas attacks on October the 7th here in Israel. The attack itself, which we understand is yet to be attributed to an exact group, although as the statement you read out from President Biden makes clear, they believe it is an Iranian-backed group operating out of Syria. The attack is yet another that is part of a wider campaign against US forces based around the region. The Americans have been wholeheartedly supportive of the Israeli campaign to fight and hopefully, from an Israeli point of view at least, defeat Hamas in Gaza. And as a result, the Americans, who have tens of thousands of troops based in the Middle East, have had attacks themselves. A lot of it's gone under the radar, to be quite honest. It hasn't been entirely underreported, but there's been quite a number of attacks, particularly in Iraq and northeast Syria. What has been much more public are the attacks on US interests, in particular in the Red Sea, which is an ongoing issue for America, also for Britain as well, who have forces there. But this is going to be seen as an escalation. And the Americans have made it very clear that whether it's the Houthis in Yemen or any other Iranian-backed militia, they will respond, and as Joe Biden said in his statement, at a time and a moment of their choosing. But I think it is indicative of what is happening along the narrow and small Gaza Strip is having major reverberations around the wider region, not just towards Israel, but towards any of Israel's allies as well, of which the United States is the most senior partner.